Good evening from Raleigh, North Carolina. Welcome to the NCAA tournament, the round of 32. As the 9th seeded Butler Bulldogs from the Big East take on the number 1 seeded Virginia Cavaliers from the ACC. Butler beat Texas Tech by 10 in the first round. UVA handled Hampton with ease. The winner here goes to the Sweet 16. Hall of Famer Reggie Miller and Dan Bonner. Kevin Harlan, Lewis Johnson is on our sideline tonight. Dan, give me the keys why Virginia is the team they are, a number 1 seed.
They're a good team because they are a complete team. One of the country's top defensive teams, one of the most efficient offensive teams. Now, defensively, they will swallow you up. Only allowed 45 points in the game against Hampton. It's hard to get to the basket against these guys and produce. And offensively, they share the basketball. Malcolm Brogdon, a great passer. You can see 20 assists. They move the ball around. They get contributions from an awful lot of different guys.
Well, Dan, that defense better be on full display because they're going to have to surround Kellen Dunham. 23 points, had his fingerprints all over that win versus Texas Tech, and he's not just a jump shooter. Can get all the way to the rack, but what he's really known for, shot clock running down, the big dagger versus the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Chris Holtmann is in his 2nd season as the coach of the Butler Bulldogs. We've already talked about Dunham, Roosevelt Jones in the top 10 category. All the important different columns for the Big East. And for Virginia, Malcolm Brogdon, the ACC Player of the Year, led by 7th-year head coach Tony Bennett, who gave us a scare the other afternoon, but is hale and hearty. More on that coming up with Lewis Johnson. The officials tonight: Joe DeRosa with a 21-year career in the NBA, 5th NCAA. Jeff Clark, his 11th tournament. And Gene Steratore, the well-known NFL referee, in his 8th NCAA. And here we go. UVA coming in 27-7. The Butler Bulldogs at 22-10. And Gill automatically inside on a feed from Parentis, with the rebound corralled by Weidman, who had a very good game on Thursday.
I like the keys what Coach Tony Bennett told us yesterday. We have to find the Butler shooters in transition. Remember, Martin with those 2 back-to-back threes versus Texas Tech. And we've got to be physical defensively as Travis splits the double and gets the lay-in. We've got to make them earn everything at the defensive end.
Travis had 13 points in that win over Texas Tech on Thursday.
And Butler starts in the man-to-man. Here's Roosevelt Jones matched up against Malcolm Brogdon. That'll be something to watch all night long.
Virginia played in the ACC final in their tournament, losing to North Carolina. Brogdon off a screen, a runner from 17 is down.
And he's hard to guard. I mean, Roosevelt Jones did about as good a job as you can do trying to keep him away from the ball. But he is in constant motion, uses those screens off the ball very effectively.
What a matchup it's going to be all night between Jones and Brogdon. Jones, who didn't shoot the ball particularly well, had a good all-around game versus Texas Tech. His offense may suffer trying to chase Brogdon all evening.
Got to make a move right now. On the fly is Martin. Rebound handled by Isaiah Wilkins. And here come the Cavaliers, who at home were 15-0 in the ACC, 13-5. It is their 3rd straight NCAA tournament appearance. They're the number 1 seed in the Midwest. Locked it again. He was the player of the year in the conference, defensive player of the year as well. Parentis.
Well, if you can force Virginia into that kind of a shot, that's exactly what you want. Butler, when they are very, very good defensively, they can score with anybody. So Virginia's going to have to do a better job moving the ball to get better looking shots.
Here's Roosevelt Jones. He works inside on Hall. Bulldozes him. Picked up by Parentis. And they come the other way. The Bulldogs were in the NCAA tournament a season ago. They tied for 4th in the Big East at 10-8 with Providence. They have won 8 of their last 11 games.
And Virginia, they need some points from Gill, but they need some points from the supplementary guys. And of course, if Brogdon's going to score them all, maybe they're fine.
Good cut, too, by Brogdon.
Well, what's been interesting early on in this game offensively for Virginia is Jones continues to trail Brogdon on those down screens. Brogdon did the right thing of curling basically all the way to the basket.
Good feed by Gill, too. A very versatile big man. Travis on the wing. Shot clock is down to 9. A steal with a Bulldog turnover. And it's Malcolm Brogdon, who is a fifth-year senior out of Atlanta, Georgia. Parentis from Los Angeles, who's been more aggressive with his game. Nice feed, Brogdon. Wilkins into Whiteman. Look at him dig and fight for position. Travis the rebound.
Tell you what, if you're Whiteman, you couldn't have played that defensively any better than you did.
It'll be a tie-up. It was. Gill got right in the way of Jones.
Reggie, you're talking about Malcolm Brogdon moving without the ball. Why does Roosevelt Jones trail him? Well, Brogdon just never stops moving. Jones gets picked off early and can never catch up, and that's one of the reasons why Malcolm Brogdon is so hard to guard. He just never stops.
And if you're Travis as that last defender big man, you've got to step up and meet Brogdon early.
For Dunham the other afternoon. Roosevelt Jones. There's a little shove on the perimeter right there with a foul, and it goes on the Cavaliers with the clock at 16:15. It goes on Wilkins. It's his first.
And one of the things that you see Virginia's big guys do is they really try to jump out and help on those screens. And that time, I'll Jones did a great job. He just drove the ball right into the hip of Wilkins. And if you do that, the referees are going to call fouls.
Defense of Virginia, terrific, Reg. We've seen them this year in particular. Number 3 in points allowed in all of college basketball with the new rules, with the more fluid offense now being officiated.
And that's why if you're Butler, nice pass there by Dunham to Travis for his second field goal of the evening. And that's why if you're Coach Holtman, this Butler team averages 80 points a game. They had 70 versus Texas Tech. We know this defense of Virginia is suffocating. To me, they've got to get 75 points tonight if they want to win this ball game. 70 or below, you're playing into the hands of Virginia.
Travis pushed Gill out of his comfort zone, and he missed the hook.
And one of the things that Butler's doing very well early is they're rebounding the ball defensively. Virginia not anywhere close to an offensive rebound.
This is Martin. It's a 2. The rebound by Parentis.
Remember, Martin got off to that slow start. It was 0-4 for about 14 minutes in that ball game on Thursday, and then erupted for 8 straight points for the Bulldogs.
Devin Hall stripped of the ball, picked up now by Dunham.
So this is where Butler has to try and score without this defense becoming set. Get them when they're a little bit scattered around.
Knocked away by Jones. It's going to be off of the driving Roosevelt Jones, the very versatile senior from O'Fallon, Illinois. About 5 minutes gone, and we're tied at 4. The Butler Bulldogs from the Big East, the UVA Cavaliers. We need someone to keep them apart. You've had about 3 full days now to observe what's going on in this tournament. What has caught your eye so far?
Well, this tournament is always about adaptability. How can you change on the fly? The teams, to me, that have done all the little things, the 50-50 balls, no turnovers, those are the teams, in my opinion, that have seemed to move on, Dan. Am I correct on that?
Well, I think that's true. Plus, you got to make shots.
Sure.
Middle Tennessee certainly made a lot of shots.
And you've got to make critical free throws down the stretch. We've seen so many teams, and we just saw one at USC. They make their free throws. They're playing today.
Brogdon goes inside with the left hand. Nice play as Nolte and Toby and Shayok have all checked in for the Cavaliers, defensive-minded players. Brogdon so far 3 of 3. Rest of the Cavaliers 0 of 4 shooting. With 14.5 to go in the first half. Travis with a good start. 17-footer. Way off that time. Here's Parentis.
Now, very rarely will you see Virginia run off a missed shot like that. They take the ball and they try to control the pace. They try to grind you down on both ends of the court.
And that's why it's so important, as you talk about pace, for Butler to try to get some easy ones before Virginia's defense is set. They score 65 points. They're not going to win this ball game.
Austin Etherington is checked in for Butler, who took a swipe at the ball. Good defense by the Bulldogs. They get it on the fly. Here comes Jones into Brogdon, a much anticipated matchup. With a rebound by Brogdon, who has had a much better start into this game than he did on Thursday with the dance move inside on Whiteman. Kicks it outside to Shayok.
Now, so far, Brogdon has had a great start, Kevin, but as you mentioned, the other players from Virginia have not.
With a miss. And
I don't care how good your defense is. If you can't score, it really doesn't put as much pressure on the opponent.
Something I've been wanting to watch too. How many players are going to play Brogdon? Jones started on him on that last possession. We had Martin, so it's 2 players that are going to be guarding Brogdon early on in this first half.
Good observation. Shot clock at 10. Got it. Parentis on him. Travis.
Like it. I like it.
Good drive. Aggressively goes to the rack.
And set up with the pump fake from Travis. That really kept Nolte off balance there, and he was able to get all the way to the cup.
Travis with 6. He's 3 of 4.
Are there only 2 guys in the game who've scored?
They pull it in inside. Travis with the knockaway. Turnover for Virginia. That's their second. The drive and a Parentis. Foul on the perimeter as he was defending on the drive by Kellen Dunham.
How about the fundamentals of this game? Toby kind of comes out, Travis with the pump fake, and just freezes Toby. One dribble all the way to the rim. Nice finish by Travis.
And you saw London Parentis very reluctant to get too far away from Dunham, so I think those driving lanes are going to be there, particularly for people like Travis and Weidman. They can put the ball down against a guy like Toby, and I think they can find lanes to the basket.
Darius Thompson is checked in for the Cavaliers. He's taking the place of Parentis. They go inside to Weidman. He had a very good game on Thursday. With a miss and a Shayok rebound. Jordan Gathers and Tyler Lewis have come in for the Bulldogs as we are at 12.5 to play in the first half.
Weidman and Travis both had good games offensively. That offset the struggles that Jones had at the offensive end.
Hey, make some noise for the iHeart Radio Music Awards live Sunday, April 3rd at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on TBS, TNT, and True TV.
So if Jones is going to continue to struggle because he's going to be defensively guarding Brogdon, who's going to be the 1 or 2 guys offensively that can step up for Butler to supplant that offense?
Gathers. Etherington. That was a 3 by him right there. Etherington, who is an Indiana Hoosier transfer. He went to 2 NCAAs with the Hoosiers.
A very poor start offensively by Virginia. Nobody but Brogdon has scored, and the Cavaliers have already turned it over 3 times. And those turnovers mean so much more when you play at the kind of pace Virginia employs.
Toby. Weidman defends. Shayok on top. Nolte the screen. The switch on D. Shayok to the rack. Toby is there to tap it up and in.
I had a chance to talk with Coach Tony Bennett yesterday, and he said him and Mike Toby before that Louisville game, that big win for Virginia on the road, Toby came to him and said, look, I want a bigger role on this team. What can I do to help this team win? And Coach Bennett told him, just play with reckless abandonment. That's all I want from you. Goes out that night, 15 points and 20 rebounds.
Dunham, Weidman. Tyler Weidman was 6 of 6 in the win over Texas Tech. Dunham with a terrific assist on the play. Dunham's got a couple of assists already in the game. Rocket. Toby, Weidman again. That is a man's game inside.
And Toby is very good on the inside. He can use either hand. He has a nice soft touch. I think if he's going to catch the ball that close to the basket, you cannot give him that much time.
Reggie Dunham has not taken a shot yet for Butler.
Well, I give a lot of credit to London Parentis chasing him and kind of dogging him off those screens.
Here's a look at Kellen Dunham. He hasn't scored yet, but he finds Weidman, who takes it up high and comes down hard for the Bulldogs. Big basketball night in Raleigh, round of 32. Let's get our Powerade sideline report and say good evening to Lewis Johnson.
Hey, Kevin. Well, it's good to see Tony Bennett back on the court tonight. And 2 nights ago, he scared everyone. And suddenly trainers were all over him trying to figure out why he had collapsed to the floor. It was right at the end of the first half against Hampton. Bennett suddenly drops to the floor, clearly in distress, but had to be helped off the court because he did return to finish the game. He told us that he blacked out for a second. Combination of dehydration and blood rushing to his head. Bennett confirmed to me earlier tonight that he's feeling just fine, so all things okay. What a scary moment there.
It was, Lewis. All the coaches, in fact, have said that we've talked to here have all had that same thing happen. They've been kneeling or they've been crouching. They get up quickly to get a little lightheaded.
Our coaches are often a little lightheaded anyway.
Some people may feel that. Here's Tyler Lewis on the perimeter. Dunham hasn't scored. Shayok defends, and Shayok, who's back on his heels, is going to pick up the foul. for the Cavaliers. Tony Bennett, he was a terrific guard when playing college basketball for UWGB, University of Green Bay Phoenix. His dad, Dick, was the coach.
Virginia doing a nice job of knowing exactly where Kellen Dunham is on the floor at all times. Even the big hedging out hard on those side screening rolls.
Shaq watches Dunham. He tries to shake him and can't. Twisting and turning, and the shot clock is down to 7. Gathers 3. Rebound Shaq. There's that good finish in Des Moines with Indiana and Kentucky over on CBS.
Early on, this Virginia game and defense has been spectacular.
Indiana, by the way, has a 3-point lead. Runs us back in. They wrestle it away. That is their 3rd turnover. Wideman and Thompson. That's the 4th turnover for the Cavaliers. We talked about Tony when he was playing guard for UWGB from 88 to 92. He started over 100 games for the Phoenix. In 92, hit that buzzer beater in Hinkle Fieldhouse to Pete Butler and win that for UWGB. But the connection between these programs goes on and on and on. Coach was his dad, Dick Bennett. And when Barry Collier took over the Butler program back in 1989, he made a trip to Green Bay. Tony was in the house and remembers Collier walking through the door to talk to his dad about the pillars that Dick Bennett, now Tony Bennett, uses at UVA, about servitude and unity and all the things about team and giving of oneself to others. Has laid the foundation there at the University of Wisconsin. Tony has used it for 7 years at Virginia, as he did at Washington State. And now Butler has continued that from Brad Stevens and on to the coach right now.
And that's why both of these programs mirror one another from their personnel, their coaching staff, and their players. And the style of play.
Prentice 3. A good shot by London Prentice, who against Hampton on Thursday, Dan, went 4 of 8 from beyond the arc.
Virginia's going to need some shots from guys like Prentice. They can't rely totally on Brogdon.
Travis. Under 9 to play here in the first half from Raleigh. Down to 32. The winner goes to the Sweet 16. Gathers Travis. He's had the hot hand. He chisels in, losing the ball as he was losing time. Prentice. Brogdon.
You see, Virginia's just not in any hurry at all. A lot of teams would have launched that open 3 from the corner, but Virginia's going to try to get a better one.
Brogdon out of the doorstep. Rebound yanked off by Keelan Martin.
Oh, he's doing a great job on the defensive boards.
Butler this season was rated as high as number 9 in the polls. Wideman put outside. Rebound pulled down by the Cavaliers. That is the second, lassoed by Isaiah Wilkins.
And Kevin, this Virginia team, they're going to give Wideman those wide open opportunities. They just don't want Martin and Dunham and Jones to beat them from the outside.
Jones just picked up a foul for Butler. First round coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship continues today on ESPN2, and watch ESPN. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. Watkins at the hot hand. He's only missed a couple. He's taken 5.
5 turnovers already in this first half.
Martin takes it the other way. They cash in on the terrific transition. Keelan Martin for 2.
They've got 5 turnovers and they have 6 field goals. That is very un-Virginia-like on the offensive end, and I think you've got to give the credit to the Butler defense.
Both these, I said, programs, they mirror one another at both ends of the floor.
I think now is just 3 in a row.
Yeah, but you know what? He's getting great looks in that paint area.
Season in the round of 32. Virginia lost to Michigan State. into the 30-win season. Etherington with the reverse. Good! What a shot!
And that whole thing was created by the fact that Etherington hit his first three-point shot. He faked the three. Wilkins went for the fake, and he went right around.
And Dan, this Butler team is so fundamentally sound at the offensive end. Jump stops, pump fakes, and finishes at the rim.
Oh, Jones just picked up another foul. So Jones is tagged with his second for the Butler Bulldogs, the heart and soul of this Butler team.
Well, here's the steal by Weidman. Gets into the open court to get the finish. And then Etherington, again, the pump fake sets up the defense. Nice reverse. Butler up three.
Greg, is our game coming up here at about 9:40 Eastern time. Dan, some interesting numbers so far in this game. Butler is plus 8 points in the paint. Butler is 6-0 on top in points off turnovers. They're getting easy score.
And that's the difference in the game. They've been getting the easy looks. Virginia has missed some shots. They can't get it close to the basket.
But also for Butler, the others stepping up.
Gill. He continues to score well. He did in the game against Hampton as well with his 19 points and 7 rebounds.
Kevin, Dunham and Jones have yet to scratch in this ballgame, and Jones with those 2 fouls on the bench. That has been Etherington and Travis who has picked up the offensive load.
That's outside by Tyler Lewis. Foul called at Etherington inside for Butler. The NCAA Tournament and Coke. Team up for great taste. Approaching 6 to play. Butler among the last 8 trips to the NCAA's, 2 Final Fours, 2 additional Sweet 16s. This is a stage that is not too big for them.
And the Virginia Cavaliers, they've got to get a little bit more efficient offensively. Reggie mentioned they've closed down the Butler main weapons on offense, but that doesn't help you unless you put points on the board.
All got it from Parentes, works into Lewis. Doubled by Etherington, 3 Parentes. He took it with a second left on the shot clock, and there's Lewis with the rebound.
They can try to find Dunham going here a little bit, especially with Parentes, who's done a great job defending Kellen Dunham.
Butler shooting 39%. Martin 3. Rebound by Hall.
It's interesting. Martin is being guarded by Brogdon, and it's Parentes against Dunham, and the two of them have been fabulous on the defensive end.
Virginia shooting 41%, but this is pretty much in line with what they've done in first halves all season long. It's the second half where they take off, where they've averaged over 53% from the floor in second half of games this season. Parentes the cut in the try. Rebound Lewis, his second in a row. He gets the ball in a hurry. Look at the drive by Martin into Travis. Doubled inside and foul.
Very unselfish play there by Martin to set up Travis to get fouled.
Well, get the CBS Sports app to follow your brackets, watch highlights, and get instant team and upset alerts. Download the CBS Sports app now.
Etherington only 1 point versus Texas Tech on Thursday. Already 5 points here in this first half for the Bulldogs, and Travis is continuing his good play as he did against Texas Tech, especially with the struggles of the 2 stars for Butler, Dan.
But isn't it interesting, Reggie? Butler gets a transition opportunity because Parentes misses a layup. When you get good opportunities against a team like Butler, you have to convert, or they're going to turn it around on you. And the Bulldogs have done a great job of that here in this first half. They're beating Virginia at Virginia's own game.
Travis has 7. He is the leading scorer so far for the Butler Bulldogs. 4.5 to go. Brogdon got a screen. Can't cash in. Good offensive rebound right there by Wilkins.
Butler dodged a bullet there with Martin falling down guarding Brogdon. Brogdon had a pretty good look.
Good throw. Parentes inside. Brogdon.
Good setup there by Brogdon. Faked like he was going right and just shifted to his left.
The 9 seed Butler Bulldogs. Dunham 3 on the fly with the miss. Rebound by Gill. That's his first of the night.
That's Dunham's first look at the basket as well.
And that's a contested look, and Virginia's going to live with those.
Remember, going to his left, he made 3 of those versus Texas Tech.
Shayok aggressive. Parentis. Across the lane, Lewis got him and fouled him. Tied at 17, fourth of the first half. Lewis picks up his first. Heavy consequences here in Raleigh, the winner to the Sweet 16. With the Heavy taking us to break. You're watching the NCAA tournament on TBS. 3.5 to go in the first half. Then we're tied at 17. Rugged game so far. Not for the wine and charcuterie crowd, but sure enough, here we are. And we've got a pretty important goal at the end. A spot in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, if you're Butler and Chris Holtman, I'm happy right now. I'm tied with Virginia, and my 2 best players in Dunham and Jones. Jones on the bench with those 2 fouls. They're over, and yet we're tied. Now they're down 1. I'm excited about that, Dan.
I think that's a great point, Reggie. Your 2 best guys haven't scratched yet, and Keelan Martin is being guarded by Malcolm Brogdon, and he's been limited to 2 points. So it's been the Butler defense so far. You saw there on our graphic, they forced 5 Virginia turnovers, scored 6 points as a result.
Gathers has come in for the Bulldogs. Etherington with the screen. The fake and the drive into Wilkins. Kicks it outside, Gathers. Travis, open triple. Good!
And once again, it was Etherington faking Wilkins off his feet that created that entire play. It forced the Virginia defense to rotate much too far, and Travis was able to get the 3.
And Kevin, you like this? That was that hockey assist by Etherington because of that.
Good call. 10 for Travis. He leads Butler. Shayok inside. A lot of black jerseys all around Brogdon.
That was a force.
Look at it.
That was a force.
Jones has been quiet. He's been at the top of the statistics all season long.
Yeah, but he's been quiet because he's defensively had to go against the ACC Player of the Year and Malcolm Brogdon.
Look at Travis fight for his shot. Kicks it to go. He's got 12. 5 of 6 from the field.
And when he scores in double figures, Butler wins a very, very high percentage of their game.
Sir Charles is always big about talking about others. And right now, Travis Etherington coming up huge for the Bulldogs.
Let's see what Gill can do here.
Nice.
He gets that one to go. He was such a prominent part of their win on Thursday. He missed his first 2, Dan. Now he has 4.
And I think Virginia needs to go to him. You need to put pressure on the Butler inside defense. We haven't seen a lot of that from the Cavaliers.
Reds, what do you think of the pace of this one?
It favors Butler because it looks like Virginia is trying to run with them. And that's the last thing you want to do is run with a team that's able to shoot and fundamentally sound like the Bulldogs are.
3 to fire. Dunham. Whoa.
His first field goal. The Iron Kind with the fadeaway.
If you're Virginia, you got to live with that. That was great defense, just better offense.
Boy, Jones is doing a great job on Brogdon.
With that basket, Dunham becomes the 3rd all-time leading scorer in Butler basketball history. Shayok, he got that one. Long 2. Ariel Shayok, sophomore from Ottawa, Ontario. Doesn't start that much, comes off the bench. And when he's got his confidence, he is a tough one to go at.
Here, Chris Holtman, you got to be careful with under a minute left that Jones does not pick up that 3rd foul.
Jones, Brogdon defends. Grit and grind inside. As he tries to dig his way, Brogdon picks up his first for the Cavaliers. Coming up on the AT&T at the half. He'll get you caught up on all the latest tournament news, highlights, and updates. All coming up on the AT&T at the half.
It was interesting what Tony Bennett told us, or excuse me, what Coach Chris Holtman told us about the defense of Virginia. So look, they're going to try to break your will. They're going to grind, they're going to hold, they're going to claw. I know it's easier said than done, but you got to stay the course and trust in our offense and our principles.
Weidman will check in. Travis will take a breather with Roosevelt Jones. with his 133rd game tonight in the Butler uniform, number 1 all time for the Bulldogs. With a look at Chris Holtmann, what it, in his mind, is like to face a Virginia team as good as this one.
Well, what dentist is he going to?
Well, I'm going to tell you, he's going to get in a lot of trouble with the American Dental Association.
There's some kids out there saying, "Mommy, Daddy, I don't want to go see that man."
Half minute to go. Brogdon 3.
Quick shot.
Toby has come in. More muscle, more size up front for the Cavaliers. Timeout taken by Butler. They lead by 2. They've led by 3. On the Sweet 16, at least one of the sites, Midwest is going to be in Chicago. Right now, Iowa State over on TNT with a sizable lead over Little Rock. Winner of this game will play the winner of that Little Rock Iowa State game. Here we got about a half minute to go in the first half. 30.6. Butler's got the ball. Dan, from the perspective of this first half, what have you seen?
I think Butler has done a really nice job defensively, and they've gotten the ball inside on offense. I think they've done a great job against this Virginia defense.
Also talking about Butler, and you mentioned this, Dan, when Travis scores double figures, they're 16-2. That includes Thursday's win versus Texas Tech.
Etherington pushed off Shaq just ahead. Hill's got the rebound. He's got 2. We get a final shot. Shaq, good if it goes. Halftime. 9th seeded Butler on top of number 1 Virginia. Butler, when they lead at halftime this season, 21-3, but they haven't played too many teams like the Wahoos this season. Nonetheless, 2-point lead. Bulldogs from the Big East over the ACC Cavaliers. To Lewis Johnson.
Well, Coach, how big have those extra possessions been due to your defense and the turnovers created?
Yeah, it's been good for us. We've been good in gaps, created some turnovers with our activity. You know, they're so hard to score on. They're so hard to score on. So you need to create some things off some turnovers and offensive rebounds. I thought our guys did that.
What about tempo?
Excuse me?
Tempo?
Yeah, you know, we'd like to play a little faster. They don't let you do that. That's fine. Our guys understand. It's like going to the dentist. It's going to be a grind.
It is like going to the dentist.
It is, and we're going to have to be okay with that. They were the first half.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
He just doesn't want the root canal. He's a second-year coach, Chris Holtmann is. He came from Gardner-Webb University here in North Carolina. He was there 3 years. Gardner-Webb about 213 miles from right here in Raleigh. And right now he's got number 1 down by 2 at halftime. We'll send you to the AT&T at the half after these messages. You're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Well, some of our crew last night went to the Pit, an award-winning barbecue joint located here in downtown Raleigh in the Warehouse District. Use free-range pigs, legendary Texas-style brisket, baby back ribs. Delicious. The Buick first half stats, you see the numbers right there. UVA at only 39%. And Butler, Reggie, shooting 46% in their first half.
Yeah, they shot the ball well, but if you're Virginia, to only be down 2 points, and your three-headed monster of Brogdon, Gale, Parentes, 7 of 19, only 17 points. If you're Tony Bennett, I'm happy with that.
Well, I'm not sure that if I'm Tony Bennett, I'm very happy. My offense has not been very efficient at all. The defense has been okay, but you got to be able to score. Now, for Butler, their top 3 guys only have a total of 5 points, but they've won the battle of the other guys. Andrew Travis has 12 points. He's done it inside, he's done it outside. And then Etherington came off the bench, and he scored another 5. So even though the big 3 for Butler not very productive in the first half, their bench guys have them ahead in this ball game.
Last time Butler went to the Sweet 16, 2011. UVA went a couple years ago.
That's a big number right there, Kevin. As Reggie mentioned in the first half, Butler's 16-2, and Travis scores in double figures, and he's got double figures in the first half.
Virginia's going to have to take care of the ball here in this second half. I know it's only 5 turnovers, but Butler scored on just about all of them.
Out of eyes on Brogdon.
This is where the ball has to go.
Gill.
Look how low he's getting it. I mean, you're absolutely right, Dan. Gill can get wherever he wants in that paint area.
He only had 4 shot attempts in the first half. He's got to have at least twice that many in the second half if Virginia's going to win this game.
He is getting it at the rim.
Inside, Martin. A lot of white jerseys around him. Parentes, Hall, into Jones.
Good start here to the second half. 4 quick points for Virginia. Now the energy, the defense gets a chance to set up when the ball goes in the basket.
Now this is what puts pressure on you.
Dunham, long three. Hall, Parentes, Gill running the court. Good feed, Wilkins from Parentes.
I take a quick timeout here if I'm Chris Holtman.
What a pass that was, my heavens.
Biggest lead for UVA. Travis, the big score in the first half, continues in the second.
What an answer. And how about the hesitation? It was almost like 2 pump fakes to freeze the defender.
But Wilkins, who went for that pump fake against Etherington in the first half, decided he wasn't going to go for it. And Travis thought, okay, if you're not going to contest, I'm going to pull the trigger.
15 points in this game already for Travis.
The average is 10. Gill is inside. In tournament play, Gill averages more than he does in the regular season. This is his 7th NCAA tournament game for Virginia.
Well, now here's Gill right here. And look, Reggie, you were talking about how low he gets inside. He collects the ball. Nobody comes to help, and he is able to get it right to the basket.
How about Travis? Look at the pump fake here. 1, 2, and he just races the 3. Travis continuing his offensive assault here as Toby is coming in for Wilkins. And now they're much bigger, this Virginia team, with Gill and Toby on the floor at the same time.
Weidman checks out. Etherington checks in now for Butler.
They're bigger, but they might not be as athletic on defense, but the athleticism of Wilkins hasn't really helped him. He has had a very poor night defensively so far.
Well, I think Tony Bennett, too, wants to control the glass, so that's why you have Gill and Toby on the floor at the same time.
Where Jones is in a straight jacket. Got it out. 3, Travis. Good! What a night.
They are glad they didn't leave him at the hotel by accident, that they brought him over here tonight.
Travis was the high school player of the year in Rhode Island. He's from Portsmouth. He's got 18 and 3 triples. Parentes dives inside.
Oh, that was so close. It looked like Etherington was there for the charge. May have slid his body at the last second here.
Well, this is Jones. He is a tough guy. Kevin, you used the word bulldozer earlier, and that's a bulldozer getting the ball out of trouble. And Travis does a great job getting in there, and he didn't get his position established.
Here's Parentes. He's the #1 3-point shooter in the ACC, #5 in all of college basketball. From Los Angeles. Rusty Carmelite. London Parentes. Oh. Football career too in high school. He was a high school quarterback, but he was a good one.
What a block out there, Dan, by Etherington, just to shield Toby from the glass.
But Etherington did a great job, but he paid the price. Reggie,
my
Toby landed
goodness,
right on top of it.
Well, if I'm Etherington and Travis, pump fake, and you can get around Gill and Toby, especially Travis.
Very difficult matchup for Toby.
Travis, Toby defends. Etherington, Travis.
Oh my goodness. This
Boy,
kid,
does he have the stroke tonight.
he is looking like Dirk Nowitzki out here. I mean, setting screens and slipping. You talk about being in the zone. Travis is carrying offensively this Bulldog team.
21 for him, Toby. As he has the flush coming off the wing last year, 6th man of the year. Good feed on the play by Brogdon. Virginia, 6 possessions, 6 scores the second half. Travis again, spinning by Toby, up and down.
He's out here clowning now because there's no way that Toby's going to be able to guard Travis on the perimeter. And when you knock down a couple threes, Toby is very reluctant to come on out.
But here's what we're talking about. They have a tough time. They elect to stay back inside. And now, okay, he's inside, but how do you guard him as he's wheeling to the basket? You need to bring some help.
So Travis with 23, a new season high. His 4 threes, a new career high.
And now Virginia elects to go very small. Wilkins is out of the game. Toby now comes out of the game, and Shayok comes in the game. So Virginia basically playing a 4-guard lineup with Gill because they're having such a hard time guarding the Butler guys, particularly Travis on the perimeter.
And Dan, that's advantage Butler. Because if you're Virginia, you play big pretty much all season. You've been dominant defensively because of your length. But now you've got to play down. It looks like this is going to be a turnover here by Brogdon.
Turnovers in particular catch your eye when you look at the box score for Virginia. They just don't do it, but tonight they are. Who's going to make the most shots? Who has more points in the second half? Play the Capital One NCAA Tournament Run game on NCAA.com and in the March Madness Live app.
They've decided that Travis is a threat because look who they have guarding him, Reggie.
Brogdon has gone on Travis. Now Martin makes a move. Shayok defends.
And because they got to move Brogdon over to Travis, who's going to guard Martin? That time it's Shayok. Brogdon has been guarding Martin. So the defensive adjustment works in favor of Butler.
And then that's why I say it's the advantage of Butler. If you've got to downsize to go against the score, nice over-the-top pass there by Parentes to Gill and follow through. If you're going to downsize defensively to go against the shooters of Butler, they are too skilled at 3 positions on the floor here for Butler.
Hill's got 10. Parentes has a couple of assists.
I like it.
And this here, oh, look at him. He's spinning and giving a move with every part of his body. Jones tried to go up and he was fouled. He's gotten some early foul trouble in that first half with a couple.
And here's the problem when you downsize. Now you're not as effective on the glass here.
This is Parentes, and that is Gill. A good combination for the Cavaliers. ACC has had a terrific start to this tournament. 8-1 so far. And Virginia trying to make it in there as well. At the free throw line, he's one of the great players in the history of Butler basketball and also in the Big East. Roosevelt Jones, only 1 point tonight so far, Lewis Johnson.
Yeah, and he missed the entire 2013 and 14 season with a left wrist injury that he suffered on the team's trip to Australia. He tore 4 main ligaments on the top side of that wrist, and surgeons had to take the tissue from the underside of the left wrist. And he said even though he's lost, see that big scar right there? That's a nasty one. That's where the surgery happened. Said he lost some of the full range of motion, but he said it's good enough to play and good enough for life. And he's been in the starting lineup ever since.
And Reggie, he's had to kind of change his shot in the way he shoots a little bit at the line and in the field.
Well, he has the wrist injury on the left hand, and then he had an arm injury to his right hand in high school, and that's why he has that little push step shot, not the traditional jump shot over your head.
Shayok over Etherington.
And that's what Virginia needs to do. They're struggling defensively right at the moment, so they have to rely on their offense to bail them out of this mess that they find themselves in.
And Dan, this is the best offensive team on the floor here for the Cavaliers. But again, much smaller.
Virginia lives and dies by the 3 defensively. In their losses, they give up almost 45% from out there. Butler shooting almost 60 from beyond the arc tonight.
Shot clock at 3. Dunham dancing with Parentes, short. And it is an air ball and a shot clock violation. Your teams, your highlights, your scores, all in one place. Download Team Stream, the free app from Bleacher Report now. Virginia is 6 of 6 this half, yet they've only outscored Butler 15-14. Another one, Mario Shayok. He's got 7, 2 in a row. The sophomore from Ottawa, Ontario.
Reg, that speaks to your point. This is a better offensive team for Virginia. Shayok really producing.
They look for Travis, the diving Parentes, who makes another clutch play. Parentes.
And what this smaller unit can do on the floor for Virginia, and Shayok here with a nice little hesitation step back behind the 3. you can switch everything defensively other than with Anthony Gill. So what Coach Bennett is saying, if you guys are going to continue to pick and pop, we're just going to switch and stay in your chest.
What great shooting by both these teams in the second half. Virginia hasn't missed.
Yeah, what defense. We thought we were going to talk about defense between these two squads.
Travis across the lane, trying to maneuver, and gambling was the defense of the Cavaliers. Brogdon picks up his second personal foul.
And Virginia continues to have a tough time guarding Travis. I'm sure that Virginia talked about what they had to do to shut down Martin and Dunham and Jones, and they have.
Got the line right now. Point number 25. When nothing goes right, go left. The new TBS comedy series, The Detour. It premieres April 11th at 9, 8 Central, with back-to-back episodes. He was on 25 with that last miss. His career high, 19 points against Indiana State. Obviously, he is saving his best for tonight.
Sometimes the way you attack a hot shooter is to go out.
Shea double. Travis swats foul.
Coach Tony Bennett has recognized the mixed match at the offensive end for his ball club. Etherington, who's done a great job offensively for the Bulldogs, there's no way he can stay in front of Shea.
By making that substitution, Tony Bennett has changed the equation. Toby and Wilkins couldn't guard Travis, but now by putting Shayok in the game, Etherington can't guard him.
Etherington picks up his third personal foul.
Tony Bennett telling us the two players on his team that can go get their own shots with the shot clock running down or an isolation one-on-one play. Fuentes and the man at the free throw line, Shayok. And Shayok has proved that over the last 3 possessions here. 6 quick points for Virginia.
Now Virginia's going right at that mismatch. I think, though, they would be wise to try to throw the ball inside the Gill some too and make Travis play a little defense.
Martin, Travis, quickly doubled. And he finds Jones, who still can't find anything inside.
Short-armed it right there. Nice move there by Travis to find Jones.
Jones 0-4.
But Dan, did you also see that? They doubled on the catch.
Shayok, he's on the hot hand, fanning there. Rebound by Jones, his second. Martin, he'll throw up a three. Brogdon with the rebound. He's got 4. A lot of important players on this court, seniors. Maybe it's picked off by Jones. He'll go the other way and finds his first field goal.
That's now 7 turnovers for Virginia. And when you play at the pace at which they play, 7 turnovers is like 14 if you're playing at a faster clip. Almost another one.
2 fifth-year seniors right there. Brogdon over Jones.
Oh, man.
Oh!
What a shot.
10.
But if you're Jones, you can't get discouraged because you could not have played Brogdon any better than that. That's just a heck of an offensive move there.
Now you got to keep grinding away on offense and grinding away on defense.
Butler second half, 6 of 13. Shayok defends Martin. Well, just Clark is way down low. Gill with the rebound. He's got his 4th.
That's great defensive effort though by Shayok.
Switch. Oh. Shayok. No slash. And feed. Gill! Anthony Gill, the transfer from South Carolina, a senior from High Point. He's had a career year. First, you watch the other senior, Brogdon, nail one from outside. Then Anthony Gill, who has some kind of motor, showing it there. It's the Cavaliers by 2. Back here in Raleigh, now time for the degree move of the game. It's Gill with the flush, and the fans love it. Firing them. Good crowd of Wahoo fans here in Raleigh tonight. We have seen Virginia, we mentioned this back in the first half. They have averaged about 44% from the field in first half of games this year. Sonny Bennett's team in the second half, Dan, they've been over 53% shooting all season long, and they're showing it 9 of 10 tonight in the second half.
Kevin, they've been taking the ball inside. They had 10 points inside in the entire first half. They've already got 12 here in the first 8 minutes and 30 seconds of this half.
But look at the score of the game. And this favors Virginia. And we've been talking about, as well as Travis and Butler have shot the basketball, everything's been a grind out.
But Butler, I've been impressed with their patience.
They get it around. Etherington. Got a three. Wow. Got it finally to fall. It ends up 10-3. Virginia run. 5 for Dunham. Bulldogs by a point.
Chris Holtman told us yesterday that they were going to have to make contested threes. That was a contested three. And you know Dunham's not going to stay silent all night long.
But where did the ball originate to? Travis.
Gill. Interesting story about Gill. He plays with such abandon as we see the previous shot. Etherington got it outside, and finally Dunham was able to knock it down. And here is the player that, as he said before, kind of the motor of this team, and he has a great motor himself. He said, where'd that come from? Well, it came from a coach when he was playing youth basketball. He said, you got to play with more of a motor. You have no emotion. You got to play with some enthusiasm. So he takes that as a challenge every single time he gets out on the floor. Anthony Gill.
And they went at him that time, and what happened? Travis got a foul. You got to keep going to Gill. Make Travis expend so much energy on the defensive end. He gets tired down here.
Travis at 25, a season high. Look at him just to turn and put it up. There's a good-looking rebound by Gill. He's collected 5. And a foul called on Butler inside.
Well, if they're going to go to Travis down low, and the entry point is either going to come from Jones or the wing, you got to dive or cut after that to allow him to have space. There's too many hands down low for Travis to operate.
Weidman will check in. Etherington will leave. You see the first half, second half comparisons. Here is Shayok.
Well, it doesn't matter that Travis is not guarding Gill. You still got to go to Gill, and Brogdon takes advantage of the fact they're expending so much energy trying to cover Gill up. He gets a lane to the goal.
The Brogdon-Jones matchup was one of the top ones to watch coming in. Brogdon right now with 12. Jones with 5. Gathers. Kellen Bennett trying to get through. Look at the defense of Shayok. Then 3 meet him inside. And Jones will take it. Got it.
Jones has some of the most unorthodox looking shot, but he's got great body control. He has an assortment of those little floaters and scoops. He is very difficult to defend if he gets that close to the basket.
I'll give Biggie's second team performance, Roosevelt Jones. Shayok across the lane, looking to hand off to Gill. Broken up by Gathers, retrieved by Shayok. And he puts it back up and in.
Well, that's a break for Virginia. Shayok should have shot that ball in the first place. Instead, he tried to find Gill. He throws this ball into a world of trouble, but it comes right back to him. And he has got the alertness to grab it and put it in the basket.
Couple X factors off the bench here for both of these teams. Etherington for the Butler Bulldogs and Shayok here for Virginia.
Etherington has 4 fouls, so he just took his seat. Gathers just picked up his first. And at the line moments ago, we saw Shayok, who has 11 points, and Shayok averages 4, but he's got 11 tonight. Jones with some scooping. Weidman puts it back up and in.
He was able to get away from his man, caused Gill to come over and help, and then Weidman was all alone for the tip.
Brogdon very aggressive with his game.
And it looks like Roosevelt Jones is starting to get worn down a little bit in guarding Malcolm Brogdon.
Looks like he needs a blow, you're right.
Probably hasn't faced a guy like Brogdon all season. There he scoops one up and got it to go. What an acrobatic shot.
Well, whatever you can do, I can do better, Roosevelt Jones says.
Jones has 9. Timeout Butler.
Brogdon off the dribble right by Roosevelt Jones. Jones goes right back at the ACC Player of the Year.
Touche. Seed Virginia Cavaliers. We're down by 2 at halftime. We can see incredible shooting in the second half. Virginia guys, 12 of 13 from the floor in the second half.
Well, we talked about Brogdon being the ACC Player of the Year. He's also the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. The nice stop on Travis, but offensively, the step back on Jones and then the blow by on a tired Roosevelt Jones.
By the way, he just became the 9th leading scorer all time in Virginia basketball history. He's got 14, number 9 all told. Here is Hall. There is Toby.
And that's what dribble penetration does. That time Hall missed an easy one, but because Weidman had to come over and help, Toby was available for the tip. Nice job by the big guy finding the open spot.
Tyler Lewis, Dunham is in there. Weidman setting a screen. They got Martin on top. Dunham trying to get free and does. Rebound Shea.
And Dan, the reason why you can bring back Mike Toby is because Tyler Weidman is on the floor here. So you have two bigs to kind of match up with one another for each team.
Brogdon into Jones, looking for Toby. Whether it's Gill or whether it's Toby, the big man putting their fingerprints on the second half for the Cavaliers.
Well, but Malcolm Brogdon has his paw prints all over this. That was a great drive. Again, drawing the defense, finding the open Toby.
Virginia with their biggest lead is 6.
And they've got to bring back Travis.
Lewis with a lot of tall bodies in front with a nice runner. Brings them to within 4, and he's got 2.
Lewis, familiar with this building. Played with NC State.
Virginia Parenti. Jump shot over Dunham. Toby lost the ball. Then it was off of Butler.
Toby's saying, weren't they holding on to my arm, sir? We've been talking about Malcolm Brogdon, this guy, the player of the year, the defensive player of the year, but look at what he does to the defense. He forces them to collapse. Toby is able to score. The Cavaliers up by 4.
Well, you got to go to the dance before you get married, and sure enough, you're at the dance, young lady, so you know what the next step is. 41 play here. The trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. Brogdon into Travis.
Wow, now that is the definition of a mismatch right there. Now, Travis, he hasn't scored in more than 10 minutes ever since they switched Brogdon onto him. You score 25 points, you get the attention of the ACC's Defensive Player of the Year. That's what happens. And now Weidman picks up a foul on an illegal screen. This is Brogdon operating against Travis. You can see his eyes light up. There's no way that Travis is keeping him out of the lane.
Weidman picks up his second. Malcolm Brogdon, the senior, is number 3 in scoring in the ACC, number 8 in threes.
And Kevin, I like what Coach Chris Holtman is doing here. Feeling that this game may be slipping away. You come back with Etherington with those 4 fouls. Now you're back to that smaller lineup that was able to space the floor.
Etherington, Dunham, Travis, Jones, Martin, the Bulldog 5. 6 to play. Gill, gyrating, leaning. Got it! Got it! What a shot! That is his game. Motor fully locked.
And the only problem with taking Weidman out of the game is Travis simply cannot guard Gill down inside. Gill operates here. Martin comes to double team, but he leaves. And Anthony Gill, he only had 4 shot attempts in the first half, but they've been feeding him steadily here in the second half, and they have been successful.
Reggie Gill, 13 points in the second half for the Cavaliers.
And a series of go-to moves down low to offset the smaller Travis.
Butler on the ropes, under 6 to go.
Who can answer here for Butler?
Travis at 25. Ball the rebound.
Still hadn't scored against Gill, or still hadn't scored against Brogdon.
What a switch Tony Bennett made to put his best defensive
And
player.
now there's Etherington trying to guard Gill. Go right back to him.
Well, he has forced foul. That's exactly what I would do. Run your offense through Gill.
Gill against Etherington. Hall, three.
I think Gill gave that one up a little too quickly. I think he needs to be selfish on that particular play.
Martin will push the issue with a foul. It's inside. It'll go on the Cavaliers. Watch live games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness. Download the app today. First trip to the line for Keelan Martin from Louisville, Kentucky in Ballard High School.
That was part of the game on Thursday that Martin kind of woke up with those 8 quick points to kind of pull away from Texas Tech.
Martin was the number 6 scorer in the Big East, number 9 rebounder.
What Butler needs now, obviously, is stops defensively. Virginia sort of scoring at will here recently. Butler's got to stop it.
Martin knocked it away. Martin's had a couple nice plays here, and here comes Jones. Down by 7. Jones will corkscrew and a foul. Brogdon got in the way.
Tasmanian Devil style right there by Roosevelt Jones. They switched on that high screen and roll. Jones recognized that Brogdon was on him, and he just put his head down and went straight to the rim.
They put the foul on Gill. It is his first. Jones at the line, 3 of 4 this afternoon. Only player in Butler history to rank in the top 10 in career rebounds and assists. And Danny is a senior. Like these other seniors on both these teams, hoping tonight is not the end of their college career.
And what he did was force a turnover down on the defensive end, and that allowed Butler to get up the court and to score before Virginia could get the defense set.
Bulldogs with new life. Within 5, under 5 to go. Well, this one for a trip to the Sweet 16 in a battle with the Cyclones of the Big 12 of Iowa State Friday at the United Center in Chicago. Give a look right there at Lori Holtman, the wife of Chris. Boy, there is nothing like the wife of a coach's wife. My goodness, you live every win, you suffer through every loss. A lot of time apart. It's tough.
They go through the same emotions as the coach and the players. But Butler here has done a good job of scoring, obviously with no time coming off the clock. Those 4 free throws, and you get a chance to set your defense. Zone here.
Across the lane. Virginia in the second half has gone 17 of 21 from the floor.
The Hall made him pay for dropping in to try to double team Gill. That was a great cross-court pass.
Nice block there by Jones.
He threw that
How
one
did he pull that one off?
He threw it to himself.
Yes, that should have been traveling, shouldn't it?
No, I think they ruled it was a shot attempt, and I think it hit the backboard before he got it. But he got into traffic, just threw it up on the board.
2 timeouts apiece, under 4 to go. Gill the screen, Parentis. Hall. Twist an ankle. Got it again. 3. Gill, big offensive rebound. Into Travis for the 2.
That's where the ball should be going. He had to go get it himself, but that's the result Virginia's looking for.
Gill with 19, 15 in the second half for Virginia.
Well, the 1-2 punch of Brogdon and Gill may be too much for this Butler Bulldog team.
Always put in some nice moments. The sophomore from Virginia Beach rebounding, getting some open looks.
Well, you got to dig in if you're Butler here. Your defense has been pretty good throughout most of the first half, but you've been lacking in stops in the second. Now's the time to dig in and get one.
Virginia shooting 78% from the floor in the second half. Shea, long 2.
Don't need to take a contested 2 in that situation, particularly if Gill hasn't touched the ball.
Butler, there's got to be a little bit of a sense of urgency here to your offense, being down 7.
Butler in the second half, 12 of 26 from the field. Dunham, every time he turns around, there are 2 guys there, pickpocketed by Brogdon.
Well, Schrab has turned his back on the play. I think Dunham was trying to throw him the ball, and Schrab wasn't looking at it.
Foul.
And when Gill has gotten it in the post, he has been dynamite in the second half for Virginia. Butler unable to stop that. That's why they trail by 7.
Take a look at our reset. Virginia by 7. Butler head coach Chris Holtman and the Bulldog family have endured some kind of a season. Butler standout Andrew Smith passed away January 12th, a 2-year battle with cancer. He was a member of both Final Four teams, a 1,000-point scorer, an academic All-America, coached by Brad Stevens, who gave the eulogy at his service as the remember him with the patch on their jerseys. They've also gone through the loss of a staff member's infant child. It has been an emotional year. We've got a couple of very important, impactful seniors on this team, Roosevelt Jones and Callum Dunham, that have meant so much to the program. Right now, with 2.5 to go in the game, they're down by 8, and not much time and a lot of points to make up. Blocked up the line.
We talked about at the top, teams being able to adapt, to adjust to any style of play in this tournament with a one-and-done situation. Dunham just has not found a way to get going offensively as he knocks down a long 3. That's only his second 3 of the evening. He had 5 versus Texas Tech on Thursday.
Colin Dunham, the #1 3-point shooter in the Big East. Here he is way outside, knocking down the triple, changing the face of the game, down now by 6. 2 timeouts for the Cavaliers, 1 for 9th-seeded Butler. It's a 6-point game. The top seed Virginia Cavaliers on top. Brogdon, Parentes, Shayok, Gill, Hall, the 5 for Virginia. Dunham, Jones, Martin, Travis, Etherington for Butler.
He will go to Gill.
Against Travis. Good feed. Lost by Hall. Picked up by Jones. He'll gallop the other way into Shayok.
What a move and a finish with the left hand there by Roosevelt Jones. You come up with the steal. It looked like Shayok was going to cut off that layup entry pass, and Jones with the nice finish.
If Butler comes back in this game, they can tip their hat to their defense. They forced Virginia into turnovers and scored as a result.
Brogdon with 18. Rangers with 8. With a great spin move to the right.
Virginia's calling call all year long has been defense. Can they get a defensive stop here? Particularly, can they defend the 3-point shot at this stage of the game?
Jones forcing the issue. Down it goes. What a spectacular shot high off the glass.
And if you're going to try to guard the 3, then Jones is going to have some lanes. What a great play.
And can Butler come up with stops here?
Brogdon, Gill a screen. Jones will tail. Shot clock is down to 8. Hall into Etherington. Rebound by Martin. He's got 5. 4-point game. Jones the other way. Into Gill. Followed by Brogdon. Fouled by the Cavaliers.
Jones with the steal in transition. You talk about an unbelievable play here. Look at this off the glass here.
High off the glass.
Here's the foul with Gill.
His second.
Jones a 68% free throw shooter.
He's made 5 of 6. He's made 5, now 6 in a row. Roosevelt Jones.
You know, the Butler defense did a pretty good job at the end of that shot clock for Virginia. Who was shooting the ball? Was it Gill? Was it Brogdon? Was it Prentice? No, it was Devin Hall.
And with this, it's a 1-possession game now. If he knocks this down, there's a little over 6 seconds differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
Whoa. Got to foul Shayok right now.
He's got an open path. Jones and back. Jones knocks it away.
That was actually a great play by Jones to get back there and commit just a regular foul. This was going to be really hard to not be a flagrant. He catches up.
That's a good play on the ball right there. But they should have fouled Gill, who's a 56% free throw shooter.
That's the fourth on Jones. Shayok at the line. 2 of 3 so far tonight.
But he's only 55.
Shows you how important that missed free throw was by Roosevelt Jones.
And how important the hustle by Jones was to force Shayok to try to convert it to free throw line.
2-possession game. Only 1 timeout for Butler.
Get it to the basket as fast as you can. And this is the guy to take it to the basket for.
Dunham.
And with this lineup, you can switch everything.
Here's the 3. Dunham. Rebound, Gill. He's got 8. Etherington the foul. Brogdon to the line. Etherington is gone. And so too may be the Butler Bulldogs.
You know, Kevin and Reggie, the definition of a good defensive team is not that you stop everybody all the time, but when you need a stop, you get one. Virginia needed a stop right there. That was marvelous defense against the three-point shot.
Etherington, a senior who transferred from Indiana. His dad played basketball for the Butler Bulldogs. This is his senior season, maybe his final game. 2 of 2 from the line. Malcolm Brogdon.
But again, how about Tony Bennett throwing a curveball here, and for the most part in this second half, going with this smaller lineup.
And sicking his attack dog defensively on the hottest player for Butler.
Virginia timeout. And a 6-point lead for the Cavaliers. Virginia scored 23 points, guys, in the first half and trailed by 2. They have scored 52 points in the second half.
You know, we said sometimes your defense bails you out, sometimes your offense bails you out. And today, it was the Virginia offense in the second half.
Jones at the other end. Hall was defending, picked up by Brogdon, fouled on the play.
And we also said at the start, Butler, who averages 80 points a game in the Big East, if they're going to be stuck in the 60s, advantage Virginia. They've been stuck on 69.
I think that their offense played about as well as you can play against that Virginia defense, but it was the Virginia offense that bailed the Cavaliers out in the second half. And Shayok coming off the bench to score 11, Toby coming off the bench to score 10 were huge.
The emotion of the tournament all over Etherington's face. He just fouled out. An important player for this Butler team in these 2 games. Brogdon.
How about this guy?
How about Brogdon, as you mentioned, at both ends of the floor. Just totally took out Travis.
Jones. The Cavaliers are going to the Sweet 16. Jones. Senior Roosevelt Jones. You can only think of the emotion in his heart, his mind, in his final college game. And the great elation for Virginia. The #1 seed will advance. They will take on the Cyclones of the Big 12 in Chicago next Friday. This is the most points Virginia has scored in any half this season. It took that 54 to get by a very solid performance from the Butler Bulldogs.
Tell you what, a gutsy effort by this Virginia Cavalier team, and Bennett changing up that lineup of going small to be a little bit more flexible at both ends. And Malcolm Brogdon was just spectacular at both ends of the floor, Kevin.
For Lewis Johnson.
Well, Coach, just how big of a challenge did Butler give you tonight?
Yeah, well, 45 got going, and we had to go to the 4-guard lineup, and this guy right here made plays on both ends. He's been doing it all year. Hard team to defend. Very similar to us. It was a possession game. Had to make some plays.
Take us back to that decision to make that lineup change to go small and how that worked for you.
We've had some success with that. We played Clemson. They got a great player in Blossom game, and that gave us success. and you always use your past experiences to help you in the present, and that helped us.
How about Brogdon on offense and Brogdon on defense, both ways?
He's okay. I'll take him.
Malcolm, heck of a game by you. How gratifying is this as a senior?
That's huge. You know, my team is playing at a very high level. I'm just thankful to be in this position.
When you're the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, what responsibility did you feel, especially late in this game?
You know, on the defensive end more than offensively. They had a guy that got going. I wanted coach to switch me on him so we could, disrupt him a little bit.
And now your thoughts on leaving here. You're moving on to the Sweet 16, man.
I'm excited. That's all I can say. I'm excited.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Malcolm Brogdon, he was the high school player of the year in Atlanta. And tonight, he becomes the 9th all-time leading scorer for Virginia. He had a team-leading 22. The ACC Defensive and Player of the Year just led his team to the Sweet 16 and a date with the Cyclones in Chicago. Tune in to TNT and CBS Now for live second-round games. Coming up on TBS, 9th seed Providence, number 1 North Carolina. We'll take you to our studio after these messages.